Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me here today at the Afridamus report. Oh, St. James, welcome in the house. Today's news analysis, we're going to go around the United States of America and bring you exactly what is happening in all the different major cities. And, you know, um, this is going to be based entirely on facts, what is actually happening. Because, as you guys, some of you can remember if you've watched my video about the Pan-Africanist scam, where everything is based on race and color. At some, where they've made white people, make them feel ashamed to even stand up and speak the truth. Shame white people into voting, the people that they want. And I want people to know that this is not only black people doing this as well. Okay? You have the LGBTQ also on the other side pushing their agenda as well. And I'm going to touch on that as well, show you what is happening in America. There's a whole lot of things going on. And the mainstream media is not giving you the truth. Because now, what they really want the country to be about is, things based in feelings. And in this life, if you want everybody to do things according to the way you feel, life is not going to work out. Because you have your feelings, I have my feelings. If I want mine implemented, you don't want that to go on. But you want me to accept yours. So that is what is going on in America. So if you look at it in the introduction of this broadcast, the mayors that you see in front of you scrolling, those are mayors of very major American cities. So we cannot talk about racism. These are all black women. As you can see, since they've kicked the black men out of the homes, and now 73% of the black population are born out of wedlock and raised by single mothers, the men do not stand a chance from birth, as you can see, because it is not normal to look at a society where the females are pushed in, to be the leaders, while the men are pushed in a completely different direction. If you don't believe me, let me show you now what they want all the black boys to be in America. Okay? Let me show you an example here. Right there. This is a popular rapper named Little Nas X. So Little Nas X identifies himself as a homosexual. So now, if you look at it, with the homosexual population, it's less than 2%. If you are old enough to remember what 10 years looked like, you don't hear stuff like this. Okay? There are still homosexuals around, I would say 15 years ago. But now, they are trying to impose this on people's children. They are coming after your children. This is why I'm asking, what is going on in America? Why are you getting distracted from reality? Why are you pretending like you are not seeing this? They are putting this in magazines, in grocery stores, on your TVs, saying hot boy summer. You cannot even, express how you feel about it. So this is why I say feelings do not matter. You cannot allow yourself to have a complete stranger come up to you telling you that you are a hateful person for refusing to follow the value that they are trying to feed you. The reason why I'm showing you this story as the first story today, this is going to be followed by a story I came across in Seattle, Washington. A situation that happened to a Pakistani immigrant, Ahmed. I believe that's what his name is. So, Mr. Ahmed, as you can see here, the title says, "When the state comes for your kids." You can read this online and you will understand completely why, you know, what I'm presenting here all ties in together. So, Mr. Ahmed took his son to the hospital, right? The reason why he took the son there because the son was being suicidal. People, this is the thing. They have turned adults. I would say you're supposed to be an adult and know how to deal with your own child. But common sense have left the parents themselves. They don't know how to deal with situations. Then they want to outsource this problem to complete strangers that we call experts. Most of these experts, do they have kids? Absolutely not. They are reading from a book. Somebody is giving them a policy. They are not following the laws of the heart. I hope you know that. In the laws of the heart, that's where humanity lies. But they do not have any humanity in them. They would destroy you and destroy your children. If you don't believe me, I will show you, videos and news clips like this for you to see exactly what is being done here. And your natural instinct as a parent, you can no longer exercise that. You know why? Because most of you have been sitting back, pretending to just go along with what is being pushed on you. You are being told, if you think for yourself and question anything, that makes you a hateful person. So, unless you truly have hatred in your heart, unless you have hatred in your heart, you would believe what they are telling you. Then you would back off so they don't see that you truly have hatred. But you can disagree and all is going to be in love. Every culture you see has principles, have ways and norms, have values, have moral standards. But when people come and said they want to erode that moral standard, the only way that will happen is if you just go along. And the funny thing is, I see Muslims here in the United States of America. As strict as Muslims are, you hear about the strict laws. But over here, they smile and pretend and say, "Oh, we are tolerant. We're tolerant." They don't think that they would fall victim to the agenda that is being implemented. You as an adult, they have no business with you because you are already grown. They know they cannot change your mind. You would just pretend. But what they know they can do to you is to cast fear in your heart. So you give up your children. Ahmed here took his child to the Seattle Children's Hospital for fear of suicidal thoughts. So personally, I question Ahmed's parenting because you see, good seed always bears good fruit, but bad seed would bear bad fruit. So how did his child even become depressed? You see, to a point where he cannot even handle that. But he took the son to the hospital. Next thing you know, Lord behold, the hospital emails him. You won't believe what they are telling him. So they are telling him that he has to come and pick up his daughter. The son is no longer a son. The son is now a daughter. And he was very confused. He's like, maybe this is a mistake. He called them. They said, yes, now your son, Ahmed Jr., is no longer identifying himself as that. Now he's a girl, and you have to address him as that, as such. So he goes and talks to a lawyer to find out what his options are. And the lawyer is like, look, let me tell you something. Right now, these people, they are doing this through the state. If you want to resist what they are trying to force down your throat, they would just take your child away and call it child abuse. And next thing you know, they're going to be, pumping your child with hormones and changing your child, your boy, to a girl. So the lawyer was like, look, just play along, just play along and, act like you're going to do exactly what they're asking you to do. So he goes to the hospital and they're like, oh, you're here to pick up your daughter, right? It's like, pretty much it's like going to a real criminal, intimidating criminal that overpowers you, gives you a fake counterfeit bill, a fake $100 bill, and looks you dead in the eye and say, that's a real $100 bill, right? Right? You're like, yes. So that's what happened. So they told him, hey, make sure you take your child, your daughter now, it's no longer a son, take this son to the gender clinic. So now they have what they call a gender clinic. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be listening to what I'm telling you here. If you truly love your children, you would make sure you protect them from the destruction that is coming their way. You as a parent, it's your obligation, it's incumbent upon you for you to protect your children. It's supposed to be a natural animal instinct. But when you kick back and listen to so-called experts to tell you that your son is no longer a son, now your son is a girl. Let me ask you guys something here. How many of you have ever heard little kids telling you that they are dinosaurs? Kids, they will tell you, I'm a dinosaur, I'm a lion. Does that mean you're going to take the kid in and do surgery on the kid and put the dinosaur wings on the kid? No. That's not even reality. But Ahmed, what he did, he went and got his son. He said, oh yes, I'm going to take my son to the gender clinic. And he didn't. He just bounced. He left the entire state. I don't blame him. I do not blame him. He left the entire state for good, left his job. So that's someone who truly loves his child. But to even, push this further, to show you the proof that your child is the target, they're coming for your kids, I'll show you a video. Here is a video from the San Francisco, gay choir. And I want you to watch this and hear what they are saying, what the goal is, who they are coming after. Watch.
I need you to watch this, please. And then also, once this video is finished, I need you to share it. This is really, really important. This is going to highlight something I've been mentioning about a long time. Watch this.
We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. Your children will work to convert all their sisters and brothers.
Okay, I'm sure you're probably quite horrified by that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the song. You can go find out, the rest of the song. They are literally telling you that they are coming after your kids. And they're telling you, okay, the people that used to say, oh, the kids are the target, they're like, yes, those people were right. They are telling you the truth. So this is the news that is coming out of America. Ask yourself, what is going on in America? What is going on? Because they are trying to convince you that you are hateful if you dare not allow them to convert your kid to what they believe in. Imagine, quote unquote, a radicalized religious person making choir videos talking about how their goal is to convert your kids, they're coming for your kids. What do you think would happen? There will be outrage. So just use common sense and realize that the most important thing in your life is your kids, to protect those kids from being told that they are something that they are not. Can you imagine how did this man's son, who was into girls, was obsessed going on the internet looking for girls, but he's depressed, right? They took him to the hospital. Within a few days, the hospital is telling, now all of a sudden he wants to be a girl. What did the hospital do to him? That is the question everybody should be asking, because I'm already asking the question. But now, I would segue into another story that happened in New York City. This happened actually 5 months ago. It's a Gambian immigrant, a woman, I believe is a single mother raising a child in one of those projects, the projects that I always talk about, the ghettos over there. And I'm not saying everyone there is bad, but the opportunities are limited and it is easier to find yourself in this predicament. There are many, many good people that came from those places, but that's not as common anymore, because back in the days, families used to live there, father, mother, and children. But now it's a little bit different. It's not as common. So now let me show you this story out of New York City. This young man, he is 22 years old. He killed his mother because, you know what, I don't want to tell you. Let me just play the video for you so you can hear it for yourself.
Well, the mother of a 22-year-old man told him to get a job so he could take care of himself. Her son's response, he shot her dead. That's according to police and the victim's brother. News 4's Gabi Acevedo is live outside the scene in East Harlem now, and he talked to distraught family members about this. Gabi.
Adam, your description, although tragic, is precise. Police say that 22-year-old Musa Camara shot his own mother in the head. Now, family members told us that the mother and her son had recently been arguing, as you mentioned, Adam, over him getting a job. The victim's brother, the uncle, wants no mercy for his nephew. Family and friends huddled in grief at Lehman Village houses. Fatoumata Denson was a mother of 8. Police say one of her children, Musa Camara, shot and killed her around 9 this morning. The uncle wants justice.
I want him to go the rest of his life in prison.
Danson arrived in New York City more than 25 years ago.
Lovely sister. She don't have no, she kind to the entire family, let's say kind to everybody. She always smile and laugh.
Today, she was found dead in her 15th floor apartment. According to witnesses, Musa Camara shot her in the head and ran away. Citizen app video shows the moment police arrested him on 108th Street and Madison Avenue.
He got arrested with the weapon. I don't know the size of what kind of weapon it is, but he got arrested with the weapon.
Family members say Fatumata had recently pressed her son to find a job, and on several occasions things got heated. A grieving brother, now lamenting the untimely death of his little sister, says he will never forgive his troubled nephew.
Come and look for better life, and she got killed by her own son, which is Musa Kamara. My nephew, I want him to go life in prison. No mercy for him.
Police.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. So, this young man is 22 years old. So, see, if they were living in regular America, he should have already have been working from the time he turned 15 years old. You see, 22, that's late. You're trying to push this young man, to get a job. That's not the way to do it. He should have been kicked out from the time that when he turned 18 years old. You're like, he doesn't need to be there. Why are you there trying to argue with your children? And I know most immigrant families, most immigrant parents, they still think they're in Africa. See, they want to implement the African laws when it suits them, but the regular law of that society which controls it, they don't want to go by it. You can only imagine his fear. He would rather shoot his own mother than go get a job. Because, see, if he knew how to take care of himself and see the opportunities around him, somebody had taught him, by example, not coming yelling at your child. That's not what I'm talking about. You live by example and your kids follow through. But if you're too busy, I'm only guessing she had 8 children, in that concrete jungle called New York City in the projects. It's definitely hard, to be there with those kids 24/7. So I'm guessing she's usually working a lot. Now, the son that killed her, he probably didn't have enough time, family time, or for someone to teach him about getting a job at a very young age, which is 15 years old. Over here, that's what we do. So by 18, the child should be already ready and prepared to be on their own, independently. But 22, if your son is living with you right now, if your son is living with you at 22, you should kick your son out right this minute, because you don't want to end up being like this lady. Because the next time, this son gets unemployed, or because, they don't even care about the job like that. So you don't want them to blame you for their shortcomings. Put the responsibility, onto them. 18 years old in the Western world, he's legally an adult. Okay, you don't want to work? Cool. Guess what? You're a grown man. You can't live here anymore. The free lunch kitchen is closed. You shut that down quick. You would see that. Yes, they would be angry at you. They would have that anger towards you. But they're not going to kill you, because you know why? They would just, that anger towards you would fuel them to do better, because they would think that you see them as a loser. But if they're in your home, you're constantly, telling them to get a job, and this young man doesn't have any skills, doesn't know what to do. This is what it resorted to. It's unfortunate, but this is what is happening all over America. Whether people are over there in these hoods shooting their mothers, if they are not doing that, they are shooting innocent children, they are shooting fellow gang members. In fact, that brings me to a gang member story here. This man that you see here, this is a Chicago gang member. who was ambushed. The man is a rapper. He was ambushed by unknown assailants, as far as they know. And they shot him 64 times. 64 times. The cops believe it is an ambush. So, you know, right now in Chicago, they have this culture of killing one another, the revenge. They call it the drill music. These people, they would kill one another and make the music about it, joke about it. So they go to lengths to revenge the death of their comrades on one another. So this is why I call it a real battle, a real war. Because there's no ending to this. There's no ending to it. Even the police, you've heard they say, oh, defund the police, defund the police. And you would hear that the police are out there hunting and shooting and killing black people. You would hear this constantly. But the true menace of the society is those gang members. These gang members are doing numbers on each other. If you don't believe me, let me roll some of these videos here. From Chicago all the way to Atlanta, New York, Baltimore, wherever you go, is the same story. Let me show you a video where, to prove that even the police themselves have no protection when it comes to what is happening in Chicago. They are catching bullets from the war that is happening in Chicago. Watch this.
We've had 3 officers shot. 2 of the officers shot are ATF agents, and 1 of the officers shot is a Chicago police officer. This is the 36th officer shot at or shot with Chicago PD this year. Officers were fired upon from the street towards the on-ramp while they were in their car on-ramping onto the freeway. They were working in an undercover capacity. So they were fired upon while driving.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that, right? So even the police themselves are not safe. Okay? I mean, it's one thing if, how can someone come and make the argument that, you know, the same people that are saying that their life is in danger, but they are the ones shooting at not just the police, they are shooting at everyone. You know that is Chicago, right? I showed you the shootings in Chicago in yesterday's news brief. I showed you some today, like these cops that are shot and the rapper that got shot 64 times. Now I'm going to show you what is going on in Atlanta. Let me show you what is going on in Atlanta. Okay? See, other people are going to hide this news from you. But here at the Afridamus report, we bring you facts. Let me show you what's going on in Atlanta.
We're staying on top of breaking news. Another busy overnight for Metro Atlanta police. We're tracking at least 5 shootings, 4 of them turning deadly. Atlanta police searching for a suspect this morning who they say traded gunfire with an off-duty officer in a busy area for nightlife in northeast Atlanta. Christy Diaz following the latest for us from APD headquarters. Christy, how did this all start?
It started as a fight at a gas station and then spilled out into the street. Let's show you some video from the scene we shot earlier in the night. It was at this Exxon gas station on Edgewood Avenue around 11:30 at night when a group of people got into a fight. It started as an argument and then eventually escalated into physical blows. It moved into the street and around the corner where an APD officer was working an overtime detail. And he was watching as one person started shooting, so that officer fired back. From the scene, we could tell at least 9 shots were fired, so it really is incredible that nobody was shot. Everybody had left the scene by the time more officers arrived to investigate, so now they're looking at surveillance video and talking to witnesses to find out more. Sheba.
And Christy, what about the officer that fired his gun?
APD alerted the GBI, but since no one was shot, they will not be investigating this. Right now, they're going through the normal protocol of placing that officer on administrative leave until the investigation is over.
All right, Christy Diaz, thank you. And we'll keep following any new developments on this breaking story for you on air and on 11 Alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is in Atlanta. 19 people shot. 19 people shot over there. This is just in one incident. So before we get to our last story here, you know, something was trending all over social media where a white man was arrested. You know, you won't believe for what. They arrested him for trespassing and hate speech because they said he threatened a black person. So, you know, like black people, this is something everyone, any good individual, not just black, you should stand against this. Because now what I'm seeing is mob justice. Isn't this the same thing that black people said was happening, you know, in the early 1900s, late 1860s into 19th century, when they had the KKK? They go around and terrorizing, you know, other people. But now I'm going to show you a footage of a black man and a white man getting into it. Okay? And then after that, I will show you an actual footage of where the Afridamus report itself was involved in a similar situation and how it was handled. Let me run this clip here and show you how the community responded to this. The community. Because now they're presenting black people everywhere as weak. Now they're saying you are not qualified to stand up for yourself. You are not qualified to handle things like a man. If something happens between you and a white person, you are the one that is at a disadvantage. They want you to worship white supremacy so bad that they want you to give up your natural instincts of being able to logically analyze situations. So now they are saying, oh no, black people are weak. You know, when a black person and a white person gets into it, they would have to call the police. The mob has to come. If the mob doesn't come, they have to burn down the white person's house. Here's an example. Let me show you.
We turn our attention now to a disgusting display that led to charges being filed against one South Jersey man and brought a community together in protest.
A large one, in fact. It all started with the video showing the 45-year-old Mount Laurel resident screaming racist slurs and threatening his neighbors on Friday. And the now viral clip, he called for people to show up at his home, and that is exactly what has happened.
Action News reporter George Solis live in that neighborhood with this developing story. George, let us know what you're learning about this.
Yeah, great. And Sarah, this has been a very active scene here all morning and afternoon. Protesters have been growing by the hour. Many of them prepared to stay for the long haul. Many of them prepared with signs, many of them with chairs. Take a look behind me. You can see some of the activity here as they have staged outside of this man's home. This crowd has grown exponentially, especially as more people have watched this already viral video. Now, things have been peaceful, but there have been a few tense moments. Tensions and tempers flared Monday on Gramercy Way in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. The anger and outrage centered on this.
Back up. Keep backing up. Back up. Keep backing up. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
An explosive interaction between neighbors caught on video back on July 2nd is now part of a police investigation.
Walk away. It's not Africa. Oh, this is Africa. It's not Solomon or wherever. I was born in America. Well, then you know what common ground. What's common ground? I don't give a about you.
According to police, the man in the video in the green shirt is 45-year-old Edward Cagney Matthews.
This over here, this over here, both have videotape of you putting your hands on me.
Matthews now faces harassment and bias intimidation charges connected to the dispute that, according to neighbors, stem from months of issues with the development's HOA board, including this racial slur written on a board member's fence and years of allegations of harassment of others. Allegations Matthew appeared to address in the video as he uses slur after racial.
See, this guy, the white guy, he's clearly an idiot. You could see this. The African guy, he sounded African. I mean, I could be wrong. But you are about to spar with someone. You're going there like this, opening your face. Somebody is walking up to you. He's putting his beer belly against your skinny belly, and you're going like this. So now I can see how the system feels like black man is a victim. They have to come help the black man. But here I'm about to show you a video of when, right here, your favorite news analyzer, Afridamus himself, had this same similar situation. And I want you to pay close attention to how I took care of it. Because I came upon where someone was harassing one of my employees. But watch this footage, and I hope you learn something from it. We have this old white lady over here harassing us. We're doing our job. We are not disturbing anybody. Nope. You can clearly see her here. We're hired by a tenant that lives here. We've been trying to tell her, but for some reason she's over here harassing us non-stop. We've told her we didn't drive up here. We're just people that are working. But look at what she's doing. Just look at her. Look at what she's doing. Just watch her. Just look at what she's doing here. Yeah, just look at what she's doing. She's over here harassing us. We're doing our job. We're hired by a tenant that lives here. We've told her time and time again, we are just here to do the work and leave. But for some reason, she couldn't accept that. She's over here harassing us, pulling out her phone, taking pictures. So this is why we're taking this video as evidence to show how she is behaving. Her behavior is totally unacceptable. Thank you. Okay, now she's over here, going after the other neighbor, just totally harassing people. Ma'am, do you have anything better to do? Ma'am, do you have anything better to do? Just keep watching. Ladies and gentlemen, did you guys see how I handled that? This is how you handle this. It's like, just because the person is white, you all of a sudden start breaking up. Oh, I'm getting beat up by a white person. It's just a crazy old white lady. Okay? She came out pulling out her camera, and I pulled out my camera. And you see at the end, I asked her, does she have anything better to do? Obviously, she didn't. But you see, after that, she left us alone because she knows we are not playing that. But let that happen to some other black person. I don't know if these black people that are putting these things on social media and crying racism, crying foul, crying white supremacy, I would be very embarrassed. Me personally, I'll be very embarrassed. Imagine me putting this on social media, crying that a old white lady has done some racist things to me. Now, she's just a nosy old lady, period. She came, and I also pulled out my camera and recorded exactly what she's doing. She came close to me, as you can see. But I know that this old lady cannot do anything to me. I'm way larger than her. I'm younger than her. My employee's there. So there's no threat. What could she possibly do to me? Right? And obviously, if the cops were to be called, believe it or not, she would be the one getting in trouble because it's on camera. She's harassing people. So this is why when you find yourself in these situations, be calm, treat everybody the same, people. It doesn't matter if they're white, black, Chinese. If the person is an asshole, they are an asshole. Just because they are Chinese doesn't mean they are no longer assholes. No. Pull up your big boy pants or your big girl pants and stop whining to other people. Common sense would let you know you have to stand up for yourself, but stand up with common sense. Do not be a part of the mob that's going to harass, people that commit idiotic things. No doubt, people, trust me. I am not saying I condone what that man did in that video. The white guy that went up to the black guy's residence in that video. But now, it's all up to him how he handled it. You see, if that man would have walked up to me, people, and, touched me with his beer belly, do you understand that, gravity would pull him down so hard, he wouldn't even know how it happened. The gravity would become so strong that he would be laying down. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'll do anything, but it's just, gravity has a tendency of doing the things that you're thinking in your head when people are acting as idiots. So the guy is clearly an idiot. You're walking up to someone. You're walking up to them and you're touching them with your tummy. Fine. Hey, he did it to the black guy and said, why don't you go back to Africa? And now you see, this is what I was telling you people here, people that are watching me in the Pan-African video, the subscribers that are here or people that watch. I was telling you that what it is they would tell you they love Africa. But the moment somebody said to them, to most black people, go to Africa, they would take it as an insult. They take it as racism. So for many, it's not really genuine. They are doing this, I don't know, for whatever reason, and in another way, that man, that idiot, the white man, he called for this as well. Because apparently he made a video, antagonizing, these people to come over to his house. So he got what he deserved. But I don't see any, what they call here racism. If you think I'm wrong, hey, dude, you got it completely wrong, feel free to leave a message. That brings us to the end of today's news. Please make sure you like and subscribe the Afridamus News Report. Listen to the news with open mind. Because think about it. The news reports that you're going out there chasing, they're coming there, sitting there, they have the teleprompter in front of them. They are telling you what the corporate media want you to, what they think they want you to hear. But over here, we take those same clips, analyze it, and break it down and let you know it is not about racism, it is not about sexism, it is not about deadbeat dadism, it is not about all these isms. It is about either, right or wrong, good over evil. That's what it is, simple and straightforward. I hope you've enjoyed this news hour. Make sure you share, send it to, Miss Lori Lightfoot. Maybe this video can help her, become a better mayor so that she don't have to blame everything on her sexuality and being black. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. We are out.